Hello and welcome to the Spirit Spa, an online sanctuary devoted to supporting you if you're in the early stages of recovery from depression or nervous breakdown. My name is Karen Packwood, the Love Millionaire. I'm a best-selling author and a spiritual guide, and in my messages from the wilderness today, I'm going to be focusing on the topic of terror. Because as you'll know, if you are in the early stages of depression or nervous breakdown, terror is one of the most overwhelming and debilitating emotions that we experience. In this video, I'm not going to try and cover the whole of the range of everything that's related to terror, because it's a very big topic in terms of recovery. So I will be doing several videos related to this, and also please look out for my meditations from the wilderness, where I'll be actually sharing processes on how to actually help you actually care for yourself and to transform the terror when you're actually in the midst of it. But in this video, I want to just talk about three aspects of terror that will hopefully help you feel a little bit calmer and reassure you that you're going to be able to find a way of dealing with this terror and also transforming it, so that you're not going to be stuck in this place of terror for the rest of your life. So the first thing that I would like to say to you is I'd like to remind you that this terror is perfectly normal. Quite often when we have this terror, we kind of carry a sense of guilt or shame or failure about it. We feel like we've done something wrong. We feel like we're weak because we're kind of overwhelmed by this very terrible feeling that makes us feel incredibly fragile and stops us functioning well in the world. But I just want you to remember that you have experienced an inner natural disaster. When you hear stories on the news of people who have kind of maybe experienced, like a tsunami or a volcano erupting, and you see images on the news of those people being extremely terrified as they're dealing with those experiences, you don't think that they're wrong for feeling terror in that situation. And so I want you to remember that you are experiencing a kind of an internal version of that is exactly like some kind of inner tsunami, or something has completely erupted within you, or something has been completely broken within you. So it's completely normal that in the early stages you are going to feel very terrified, and that you are going to be feeling quite fragile as a result of that terror. So I want to let you know that, so that you can, not beat yourself up about it. It's very easy for us to beat ourselves up about these things and feel like we should be being kind of perfect and strong, and we should be able to deal with these things. But actually, in the early stages, we can't. And in some of my later videos on terror, I'm going to explain why we can't. But the second thing that I would like to draw your attention to is that this terror, it comes in as a form of protection. And it's hard to understand why it's protection when you're actually experiencing it in the early stages, because it doesn't feel like that, does it? It feels like it's a brutal monster that's come in and taken over your life and is just completely obliterating you. And I fully understand that. My journey with terror as a result of my own breakdown, it's been a very long journey, and it's taken me many years to be able to actually kind of fully understand the role that terror has played in my breakdown, but also in my recovery as well. So I do fully understand it, but I want to just explain to you a little bit about the fact that this terror comes in right at the very beginning. It's a little bit like it's a warning. It's about making sure that you're going to stay very slow with your life and your recovery. You're not going to rush out and make decisions that don't suit who you are now and what your life is going to become. Because as I like to say, and I like to reassure people that when you actually experience a depression or nervous breakdown, what's happening is that as you come into the recovery, is that you are rebuilding your life, and you're rebuilding your life in a much more positive way than how you were living before. So it's always about moving forward towards something better. than you've actually experienced in the past. And part of the work of healing with trauma is around looking at things that have actually caused trauma, with terror, is that actually what happens is that you go back to experience things that have caused you trauma in the past and terror in the past, so that you can begin to heal them. But I'm going to say more about that in another video. But please just know that those moments when you feel terror, it's a little sign to just stop. Take a step back. Don't go rushing forwards. Don't make any unwise decisions. Just give yourself time to be peaceful, to be calm, to rest, to take things very slowly. It is a sign that you're not ready to take the next step forward. It's a sign that you still need to be stepping back a little bit from whatever it is that you've just kind of tried to do that's then triggered the terror. It's a sign that you're not quite ready for it yet. Take a step back. The time will come when you will be ready for this. An example from my own life is around finances. When I had my breakdown, I wasn't able to work, so I ended up without a job. I ended up without a home. I had to move in to live with a relative. I had no income, and so I accrued lots of debt. And so my terror was compounded because not only did I have the terror of having had the breakdown and all of the issues that had caused the breakdown that I had to deal with, I then had issues that were compounded, and one of the massive ones was debt. And so I was one of those people who had the classic experience of, every time an envelope came through the door, I would freak out. I wouldn't be able to open the door. I would scream. I would, it would be kind of like a hysterical scream if I just saw an envelope come through the door, because I just couldn't cope with it. It was too much for me. The terror that it triggered in me was just overwhelming, beyond overwhelming, and it would make me tumble all the way back to the beginning of where I felt right at the very beginning of my breakdown, and that went on for a very long time. It's a big journey. I'll have to do another video about my journey with debt and financial recovery as a result of the financial mess that I got into when I had my breakdown. But believe me, I absolutely know the brutalizing agony of debilitating terror. But the reason I'm sharing that is because very gradually I have been able to do that. I can open envelopes now. I can deal with my finances. It's been a very long journey, but it is possible. But I know that terror was telling me that at that moment in time, when it came back into my life, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to listen to. I wasn't ready to learn the lessons that I needed to learn around my financial issues that had contributed to all of my breakdown and my depression. So I just want you to remember that when the terror is really triggered, it's a sign. Just take a little bit step back. Be gentle with yourself. Be kind to yourself, as kind as you can possibly be. Try not to beat yourself up. And then the third thing that I would like to share in this video is that terror is a healer as well. It's so difficult to understand that when you're right at the very beginning. And I am going to do some more videos to explain a little bit more about how terror is a healer and how you can work with terror to help heal you. But for now, in this video, I just want you to know and trust that it is a healer. And what I would like to leave you with in this video is a couple of things that you can do to help yourself when the terror is triggered. And that is to step back, to rest, to spend time in nature, to take, if you're able to just take a little bit of exercise. Actually, once we start moving our bodies, we can shift the energy of some of the very difficult feelings that we have with terror. And I know that sometimes at the beginning exercise is too much, but if you can, even if it's just sitting in nature, I really, really recommend that you spend some time with the strength and the beauty of nature, and just to allow the air to nourish you and feed you. And I know that might sound, how is that going to help me with these really big issues that I've got going on related to terror? But it's just a start right at the very beginning. And as I say, I'm going to do some more videos to just take us into a deeper journey with terror, and a deeper kind of healing process with terror. But I just want to leave you with that one, that information for today. So my name's Karen Packwood. I'm the Love Millionaire. This is the Spirit Spa, and these are my messages from the wilderness, hoping to really help you and support you in these very early stages where terror is very overwhelming, as you come to a place of recovery, and you are coming to a place of recovery from your depression and your breakdown. If you would like to leave any comments below where you're asking for any advice or sharing any experiences, please know that you can do that. Or you can email me at karenpackwood@gmail.com. But please do reach out to me. Please do, feel free to share anything. If you would like to book a wise wisdom consultation